These were like dormitories or bedrooms.
Yeah, these were our dormitories, but these guys, for them, were staying in permanent buildings.
Okay.
So that was how the first day went. When I just put my head down like this, having a nap, it was so quick that I was told to rise again just after some few hours, because I thought maybe I'm gonna rest for 12 hours or 8 hours, but just after 3 hours, imagine, I was waking up and was like, time for working by these military people.
God. Is that a regular work day? Like you had to work 20-hour work days every day?
20 hours a day. No off days. Just constant work.
The human brain can't survive that. You must have just gone a little bit insane. You must have just had severe sleep deprivation at all times.
Imagine we were not even allowed to move inside there. You only go for a short call once during those 20 hours a day of working. Once or twice if it's an emergency. So we are on those computers, very bright lights in that room, loud music, for almost 6 months inside there, my brother.
Q, it sounds like a nightmare. Nightmare.
This is hell, my brother. This place is hell.
Tune in to the next episode because we're going to look at how this isn't an isolated experience. Many hundreds of thousands of people from countries all around the world, they're getting smuggled into Myanmar to scam, and we're going to meet another one. This time, we're meeting a woman from the Philippines who was recruited and sold into slavery, actually by a friend. And we'll continue to follow Q's journey as he settles into his new reality. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe. If you're enjoying this and you'd like to offer some support, the single easiest thing you can do is subscribe. Scammerland is produced by Rachel Tuffery. Editing is by me, Rachel Tuffery, and Jamie Snyder. It's mixed by Jimmy Saunders, who also did our sound design. Our cover art is by Rich Akers, and this whole thing has been a Super Real production.
Super Real. Thinking there's more out there for your career? Turn your curiosity for the human mind into a meaningful career helping others. With a major in behavioural studies at Swinburne Online, you'll gain practical skills to create real, positive change. From therapist to youth worker to mental health supporter, your career could go places you never even imagined. And best of all, you can study 100% online. Begin your study journey in behavioural studies with Swinburne Online. Tom and Sarah have just successfully served their guests the ideal meal. Perfect portions, fresh ingredients, and flavours that hit just right. And everyone is feeling light, energised, and most importantly, satisfied. What's their secret? Quality Atlantic salmon from the cool waters of Tasmania. It must be Tassal, the clever choice for something quick, delicious, and nutritious. Tassal, it's Australian for seafood. Available now at your local Coles and Woolworths. Visit tassal.com.au to learn more.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Would you speed up to someone and tailgate them while walking?
Come on.
If you wouldn't do it anywhere else,
Come on.
why do it on the road? Don't let a car change who you are. Safer driving starts with you.
Your customers are scrolling past your social ads, using ad blockers and paying for ad-free streaming. But when they're listening to a podcast, they're hearing Acast ads, which are 4.4 times more engaging than display ads. So, if you want real attention, start advertising on podcasts with Acast. Start today at go.acast.com/ads.
Hey, I'm Julian Morgans, and you're listening to Scammerland. We established in the last episode how most online scams, they're being run by modern slaves living inside a network of walled compounds through Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. And you'll recall, we just followed a Ugandan guy named Q as he was smuggled into Myanmar and taken to a notoriously brutal scammer farm known as Tai Chung. But we want to illustrate the scale of this issue, the way that Q's experience is being mirrored through Southeast Asia, bringing automation and scale to what used to be a cottage industry. And in this episode, in particular, we're going to show you the world of scamming from the perspective of scammers. Welcome to Scammerland. So we're going to come back to Q from the previous episode, but right now, let's head to the Philippines to meet another woman named Catalea. Like Q, Catalea was also a victim of human trafficking, and I think her story is important because by hearing different perspectives of abduction and the work they're expected to do, we get a fuller picture of how this industry works. I want to show you how formalized it all is. These groups running the scammer farms, Chinese organized crime, they've got scamming down to a science. It's become an industrialized process, just like any other business at scale. And to make it run smoothly, they need to recruit people with specific skill sets. So they're recruiting people out of Africa, like Q, to be laborers, to just do the grunt work of initial outreach. But they also need workers with really good English skills to carry the victims across the finish line. And that takes us to the Philippines. And the Philippines was a US territory, so a lot of high school classes, they're still taught in English, which is leaving many Filipinos with like a slight American accent. And that's why the Philippines has become a global hub for Western call centers, but it's also become a target for scammer farm recruiters. Actually, I should point out that some Filipinos travel to places like Myanmar intentionally to work at scam centers. But Catalea, she wasn't interested in this life. She didn't want to be a scammer. In fact, she'd studied criminology, and she actually wants to be a police officer.
My dad he's the one who always wanted to become a policeman. So he wanted to protect us like he could. But unfortunately, father just passed away. And so I was trying to get on track.
Maybe this story already sounds familiar. Like Q, Catalea was just trying to get on track. She was educated, but she couldn't get a job in her field, and she was grieving the death of her dad. And it kind of made her vulnerable in ways that she didn't realize. And it all started when she met a friend working at a call center, and we're going to call this woman Vale. Actually, I should point out that Catalea is also a pseudonym. Our guest, she still fears for her safety, so she asked if we could blur her face and change her name.
So we are working like for 4 months or 5 months, something like that, on the first company that I worked. So we bond together, we drink together, and then we hang out. So her boyfriend reached out to me like, hey, I wanted your help. So I was going to propose on her in Thailand. So if you want, you can help me, and everything is free.
So it's a pretty good deal, right? This guy is saying to Catalea, hey, come to Thailand, shoot a video of me proposing to my girlfriend, and I'll pay for all the flights and accommodation.
I was so excited for them because I know them for a long time. Like, we're friends, right? And I didn't think anything that they would put me in danger because we are Filipinos. And I just bring like 3 clothes on me, like 3 pairs, because it's going to be like a 3 days vacation, right?
But when Catalea got to the airport, she knew something was off. Her friends had arrived with huge suitcases full of clothing, despite the fact that they were only going for a 3-day trip. But Catalea, she just kind of brushed it off. And it wasn't until they got to Bangkok that things really got weird.
So when we got in the airport, we're very excited. They talking about the places we will go there in Thailand and something like that. But when we arrived in Thailand, I got shocked because we were living separately. The hotel they will stay, it's different from the hotel that I'm going to stay.
So Catalea goes to this other hotel. They arrive at night, and the next day her friends say they're getting some private couple time. So Catalea, she hangs out at the hotel, alone. She's got no money, so she feels a bit trapped. And then finally, towards evening, her friends call her and they say, hey, we're going to pick you up in half an hour. And I just want to highlight here that Catalea, she wasn't completely naive to the danger that she was in. The existence of the scamming industry, it's common knowledge in the Philippines. They call it pogo. And one of the reasons that scammer farms first appeared in Myanmar is that lots of the operators got flushed out of the Philippines, where they'd been operating originally. We're going to look at the history of scammer farms later in this series, but for the moment, Catalea, she called her mum just before the friends arrived at the hotel, just to let her know what was happening. Also, her mum was looking after Catalea's young son, who's only 9, so she wanted a chance to say hello, and after the phone call, Catalea went downstairs to the reception area, where her friends rolled up in a minivan, and then Catalea opened the door, and she found an older Thai man driving. And her 2 friends were in the back seats, and they kind of beckoned her in. And they told her they headed to meet a wedding planner. And Catalea, she reluctantly climbed in, but the mood was heavy. No one wanted to talk.
I asked everything about the details, but they stopped answering me anything. And the driver was so like, the Thailand driver, so strict. She don't want me to ask so much questions to the other Filipinos.
And just like Q, Catalea got worried when they drove out of Bangkok and were on the road for hours.
So when we are traveling hours, and we don't stop. And the bad thing is I don't have a Wi-Fi on my phone because I don't have a SIM card. So I cannot see a Google Map where I am.
Finally, they pulled into a service station to take a break, and everyone went to the toilet except for Catalea, who slipped inside to buy a SIM card. And it was kind of tense because she could see the others return from the bathrooms while she was still inside fumbling around trying to get her SIM card to work. But finally, it fired up, and Google Maps loaded, and a little blue dot placed her right on the Thai-Myanmar border. Catalea, she looked up through the window at her friends standing around the van, and she suddenly understood what was happening.
When I go out, I fight with them already. I curse them and everything. What the fuck? Like, why are you here? Then they told me, come down. The office is new. They will give you a good salary. What the fuck? I don't want a job. I have a job in the Philippines. Then she told me, you don't have the choice. The Chinese boss paid already on your... He's the one who paid all your tickets and everything. I was crying already and everything. And then I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. Then she told me, just work there, just work. It will go. I cried and cried, and I swear to God, I did everything to fight back. But I sit down, I think, because I don't know where I am. And there is no houses on the road. What I'm going to do. And the driver get my passport already. He get my passport, so I don't have the access, right? So I think that if I resist, I will get killed. If I think, I will survive.
So, feeling like she had no other choice, Catalea got back in the van and they headed for the Myanmar border. We're going to take a quick ad break here, but when we come back, Catalea is smuggled over the border to the scammer farm that becomes her home.
As Aussies, there's a lot we don't know, like whether yeah, nah means yeah or nah.
Yeah, Nah.
Or why we celebrate Ned Kelly for being a semi-successful criminal.
Great fashion sense, though.
And none of us know who came up with the name Bin Chicken.
Just trying to have a picnic.
But one thing most of us do know is how to enjoy Vegemite. And it's our duty to pass that knowledge on to all those people in our lives who might be missing out. So come on, Australia, introduce someone to the taste today. Head to unitewithvegemite.com.au.
Your customers are scrolling past your social ads, using ad blockers and paying for ad-free streaming. But when they're listening to a podcast, they're hearing Acast ads, which are 4.4 times more engaging than display ads. So, if you want real attention, start advertising on podcasts with Acast. Start today at go.acast.com.au.